You're watching Lawndale Community Cable Television, Channel 60. The following program has been made possible in part by a grant through the Lawndale Cable Usage Corporation.
Good evening, fans, and welcome to another exciting Channel 60 sports presentation. Tonight is Homecoming 1996 at Leuzinger High School as the Olympians of Leuzinger take on the visiting Torrance High School Totters here at Olympian Field. Promises to be a very exciting contest, and we're looking forward to an evening that's filled not only with good football, but also with a great deal of pageantry, as homecoming has always shown itself to be. Right now, we see the captains from both teams heading to Mill Field for the opening coin toss. I'm Rufus Washington, joined in the first quarter by Jason Miller and later to be joined by Brian Knox. And we're looking forward to a key Bay League matchup. Although Torrance comes in with a 1-7 record and Leuzinger with a 4-3 record, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's go down field level for the opening coin toss, fans.
Gentlemen, your referee tonight is Dr. Frank Johnson out of Elko, Nevada, in the WAC conference. He worked the 1989 Peach Bowl between West Virginia and Appalachian State. How are we doing, gentlemen? Ready to go today? Good. Let me introduce the crew for you tonight. From the Pac-10, Vic Winnick. From the Big West, we got Dave Badnock. We got Brady Mack from the SEC, and from the ACC, we got Tony Davis. Gentlemen, here's our coin for tonight. This is heads here. This is tails, okay? White, you're the visitor tonight. Okay? We'll toss it. If we drop it, we'll do it all over again. Okay? Good luck. Tails. Tails is called. It's heads. It's heads. Hey,
give me something here. Give me something here.
You want the football? Is what you're saying? You want the football. You want to kick and defend what change. You want to defend the clock. You're right here. You guys are right here, gentlemen. Slide right next to me. Okay, blue is going to receive it, gentlemen, away from the clock. Right here. Come in here real quick, guys. Okay. Deep into the season, gentlemen, the one thing we ask all night is make sure that blue talks to blue and white talks to white. You're the spokesmen for your ball clubs. If there's any problems, they come through you. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, good luck. Have a great game. Good luck. Good luck.
All right, and there you see that the Olympians have won the opening coin toss. A fine job by the officiating crew, headed by the referee, of giving the instructions to both teams. Let's look at the Bay League standings here for a moment, fans. As you can see, Peninsula is at the top of the league. No surprise there, 5-0 in league play, 8-0 overall. Santa Monica in second place, surprisingly, at 4-1. But most importantly, our Olympians, as well as the Cougars, are tied for third place at 3-2 in league play, 4-4 overall. Inglewood, West, North, and Torrance bringing up the rear. And, of course, Torrance, who is the Olympians' opponent tonight, at the bottom of the heap, 0-5 in league play, 1-7 overall. The Totters won their first game of the season and they've been on a 7-game losing streak ever since. But you can't take anything for granted. This gives me an opportunity to bring Jason Miller in to talk about some of the changes that the Olympians have made coming into tonight's contest, as well as going down the stretch as they vie for a playoff position. Jason.
Rufus, I got a chance to talk to Coach Bobby Greer last week at the West Torrance Hawthorne game, and he was not at all happy with his offense. He's made some changes. First of all, Rufus, he's going to be calling the offense, and I think rightfully so, because they haven't scored many touchdowns in league this year. Also, James Murray is going to move from running back to wide receiver and look for the Olympians to go to a 4 wide receiver set tonight. And also, Keith Miller told me he expects to get the ball near 30 times this game.
Wow, and that's a lot of carries. But as you mentioned, those are some very critical changes in the Olympian offensive strategy. Let me ask you, Jason, your thoughts about being at this point in the season, you're 8 games in. I mentioned that the Olympians were 4-3. I was in error to say that. They're actually 4-4 overall and 3-2 in Bay League action, as we saw on the promo there a few minutes ago. Ranked number 9 in Bay League action by the Daily Breeze in the Daily Breeze top 10. No surprise that Peninsula at 8-0 is number 1. How does that affect the team, though, this late in the season to make that many changes?
Well, Rufus, I think it had to be done. 2 losses in a row. Leuzinger getting beat in the first half the last 2 weeks, near 65-0 in the first half the last 2 weeks. The change had to be made. The offense hasn't shown up. Coach Greer is going to be calling the plays tonight. And I tell you what, for the Leuzinger Olympians to win for the rest of the season, Keith Miller must get the ball at least 15 times a game, and Ken Riley must complete some passes.
And while tonight's game is a big contest, the other thing that the Olympians, in playing an opponent that only has a 1-7 overall record, 0-5 in league play, and we're all competitors, and we tend to overlook those with the weaker records. You can't afford to overlook this team in anticipation of next week's game, the big game, of course, against Hawthorne, which is going to be right here at Olympian Field.
Oh, well, we know last year Leuzinger overlooked North, and that North was the last place team in the league, didn't win. They were like 1-8, and Leuzinger lost that game. This game, they can't look past anybody. Leuzinger hasn't been tough at all.
Well, let's see if the Olympians can keep their head into this one. Back to receive for the Olympians, of course, is number 15, Devin Green. Number 5 over on the far side is Eddie Miller. And in the middle is Rashawn Cook. And we've seen Rashawn do his thing a couple of times. And it's Rashawn who's going to take the opening kickoff. And gets out to about the 28-yard line. They're going to call it officially the 29. So a good opening start on the return for Rashawn Cook as the Olympians go on offense, 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line.
And I tell you what, Rufus, Rashawn Cook's going to have to get the ball for Leuzinger to not only be successful this week, but next week also. Ken Riley's going to have to complete passes. Keith Miller's going to touch it at least 15 times a game. I'm going to keep track of how many times Keith Miller carries the ball.
As you mentioned, one of the changes we expect to see is James Murray in the receiving corps. This time the Olympians opened up on the first play with three receivers to the right. Now they send a man in motion to keep it on the ground, and that's Keith Miller with his first carry. Miller takes it out across the 35-yard line, make it a 2nd down and about 4 for the Olympians.
Rufus, we told you that the Leuzinger Olympians are going to come out in a 4 wide receiver set, somewhat to what the run and shoot is. Let's see if they've been able to comprehend the offense, and Ken Riley has to be able to move his team down the field.
Once again, they set up on the right with Brooks, DeJuan Scott, and Cook. Now they send Scott in motion. Once again, they keep it on the ground, and Keith Miller's going to pick up the 1st down. And that's what Jason just told us, folks, a moment ago. Some inside information, and we wonder how he got it, that Keith Miller would have to carry at least 15 times in this game for the Olympians to be successful. And they open with 2 consecutive running plays, and they pick up a 1st down. We're in first quarter action, fans, here at Leuzinger High School as the Olympians take on the Torrance Totters at homecoming 1996 for the Leuzinger Olympians. It's Olympians again keeping it on the ground. This time it's Eddie Miller. Miller gets maybe a couple of yards on the play, just mixing it up just a little.
Rufus, let me tell you something about the Olympians right now. Daryl Jeter's not starting this game. He missed the practice during the week, so DeAndre Hines is going to start in his place. And when you have 4 wide receivers and 1 running back, you're not going to have a tight end in the ball game to help block, and you don't have a fullback in the ball game to help block. The offensive line is going to have to pass protect for the Olympians tonight.
And, of course, Jeter is big number 66 on the offensive line, and perhaps we'll see him as the game progresses. Don't need to tell you, of course, that the quarterback is number 7, Ken Riley. In the backfield is Eddie Miller and Keith Miller. This time Cook goes in motion. They hand it to Eddie Miller. He goes around the left side, got some running room. Shoestring test. Let's see if Eddie Miller can outrun the one defender left. He can. Brought down finally, but not until after he takes it down inside the 5-yard line. Eddie Miller with the big carry for the Olympians. There you see him on your screen, 5'10", 185-pound junior.
Big play that time, Rufus. Eddie Miller getting up in the field. That play for the Olympians is called a gas, where the guard, onside guard pulls out to the left. Excellent blocking by the Olympians. And this is what they have to do. Get on Torrance early, and they'll blow them out.
They spotted officially at the 6-yard line. Let's look at the replay again, fans. Here you see the handoff to Miller. He goes around left side, finds a hole there, and goes right through. Back to live action, and Keith Miller takes it down near the goal line, just short of it. No more than inches from here to be a 2nd down and goal for the Olympians.
That was a trap, Rufus. That's Leuzinger's bread and butter play for the past 15 years. Leuzinger looking good on offense. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks on offense in the first half. They're going to score on this drive.
And there you see the excellent camera work from the crew at Channel 6. As you can see, that ball is only about half a yard away from being a touchdown for the Olympians with 9 minutes left here in the first quarter. This is the opening drive of the contest, fans. Riley calls his own number, keeps it himself. No signal yet. Let's see. Touchdown. Side judge signals touchdown for the Olympians. So with 8:50 left in the first quarter, the Olympians go on top right now by a score of 6-0 with the extra point attempt coming up. All of that set up courtesy of the big running play by Eddie Miller.
Leuzinger needed that, Rufus. They haven't been good on offense at all in the last couple weeks, but now they look solid, and this is good. Going into the Hawthorne game, Leuzinger's going to have a good offensive performance tonight, and it looks that way already.
Well, that certainly was excellent momentum for him. Eddie Miller with the extra point attempt. Holding for him is Devin Green. Now we've got a flag on the play. This may go against Torrance.
You get a team like Torrance down early, Rufus, and you're going to be able to blow them out because they haven't won many games this year. They didn't win many last year. If you get on them early, they're going to put their heads down, and the Olympians could run away with this one.
And we've got the referee and crew mic tonight. As you can hear, the referees call encroachment by the defense. And actually, that penalty changed the Olympian strategy. Instead of going for the point after kick, looks like they're going to go for 2 here. And they do. That's Devin Green with the carry. Devin Green still on his feet. He's got a shot at this thing. Great block put on there. Touchdown, but we got flags on the play. Got flags on the play. And this looks like it may go against the Olympians on a clip, Jason.
Yeah, that was either Rashawn Cook or Ken Riley trying to make a backside block, one of those oohs by the crowd. They want the ooh on the backside block. We're going to see who it is. And as you see, Green going wide left, reverses his field a la Marcus Allen. You're going to see the block coming to your pitcher right there. And you see Ken Riley coming from behind. It's a clip, so it's going to come back. Great camera work by the Channel 60 crew.
Block didn't look all that bad. I mean, he got a full side block. Looked like his head was in front of him, but the referee saw it otherwise. They called clip against the Olympians, and wow. And this is going to take them back to the 25-yard line where they're going to spot it.
Rufus, that's the only type of block you're going to see a quarterback make. They're not taking nobody head on.
And what happens is you've got a customary extra point attempt, which is a chip shot, now becomes a very long field goal attempt of about 35 and 10 is 45 yards. Let's see. And it's no good. Kick is wide left. So the Olympians lead by a score of 6-0. We've got 8:50 left here in the first quarter. Let's watch the touchdown one more time, fans.
Rufus is just big on big right there. The team with the most desire wins. Lowest man wins on the offensive line. That time, Leuzinger wins in front of this homecoming crowd.
And there you see the quarterback keeper by Ken Riley as he takes it across. And maybe Coach Greer certainly wanting to capitalize. You can't fault him for that. You know, now all of a sudden you get the ball at the 2.5-yard line. You got to think that that's a chip shot in terms of going for the 2-point conversion. But Devin Green got strung out going wide. And by the time his blocking set up, they got a penalty. It cost them the point. So their lead is only 6-0.
38 points given up in the first half last week by the Olympians. The defense is going to come out inspired, and I believe they're going to shut this Torrance team down.
Well, Eddie Miller will handle the kickoff duties. Back to receive for West is going to be Mula Nasuf and Juan Barbosa. Looks like Barbosa's going to handle it. Barbosa's in the end zone. That's an automatic touchback. So the Toddlers will start at their own 20-yard line. This is their opening possession of the game right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60.
Rufus, I see Kenny Riley out there on defense. He played a little bit of safety last year. I went to their practice the other day, and they were working him out at safety once again. And I see they have him out at safety right now. It's going to be interesting to see if Torrance recognizes that and picks on him.
And there you see 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Toddlers, trailing by a score of 6-0. Their quarterback, of course, Peter Gilliard. And we've got motion. Looks like this is going to, they're going to call this against Leuzinger. Looks like it may have been Keith Miller on the play. And, of course, the last couple times I've seen the Olympians, Miller's done a great deal of blitzing. And it looks like he's prepared to do the same on that play. So it'll be a 1st and 5 now for the Tartars from the 25-yard line. Tartars open by keeping it on the ground. That's no surprise. That's Anthony Jones, the feature back in their running attack.
Good play by Keith Miller. That play, Rufus stuffs the middle of the hole and doesn't let Anthony Jones get much. They have an injured guy on the field, Rufus, but Anthony Jones gets good yards that play. When you jump off sides on 1st down, you can do just about anything on 2nd down. And now with a 3rd down and 1, look for him to try and power it against the Olympians. Or pardon me, a 2nd down and 1.
There you see the defensive linemen for the Olympians. The tackles are Coleman and Cruz. And the defensive ends are Ubia and Miguel Panta. And we've certainly called Panta's name a number of times this season already. He's a key lineman for the Olympians. Linebackers, of course, Brett Sewell, no surprise there. Keith Miller, certainly no surprise to anyone. Eddie Miller, no relation to Keith, and Frank Harmon.
By the way, Rufus, Frank Harmon was injured in the homecoming ceremony earlier today. He had a door slammed on his finger. I guess he's all right since he's out there.
And the defensive backfield, Murray, Scott, and Rogers. 3 very good defensive backs, all of whom we've seen perform very well this season for the Olympians.
James Murray told me he's on a tear, Rufus. He was disappointed with his play against Inglewood. He said he's going to come and play hard tonight.
And of course, the Olympians trying to get back on the winning track after a 41-8 defeat at the hands of the Peninsula Panthers a week ago. Once again, Torrance keeps it on the ground. That's their fullback with the carry. Paul Reese picks up the 1st down.
That was Torrance's version of the trap right there, Rufus. 2nd-year starter, Paul Reese that time, Rufus, just a quick hitter up the middle, and that's what he does best. As this Torrance team has struggled on offense this year.
Olympians here on defense for the first time tonight. They've already given up one first down. Let's see if they can tighten up once again. Miller showing blitz this time. Keith Miller indicating that movement was against the Totters. Let's see if the officials agree. And it is against the Totters. Takes the ball back to the 29.5-yard line, make it a 1st and 15 for the Totters now.
Leuzinger's going to go after the quarterback Gilliard because Gilliard's had 2 concussions this year already. In high school football, you don't want to see anybody get anywhere near 2 concussions. It starts to become life-threatening.
And there you see Gilliard in your screen there. He's a quarterback, number 11. This time drops back to pass, goes right, lays it up there. Nice pass broken up by Devin Green. Excellent coverage by Devin Green. That pass was intended for Brandon Viette, 6 foot, 170-pound wide receiver. And there you see Devin Green on your screen, the junior, showing excellent defensive coverage to break that pass up.
I tell you what, Devin Green, he's been like a jersey this year, Rufus. He hadn't let anybody get open. He's been all over everyone. As we're going to see the replay, Rufus, just a quick 3-step drop to try and get something big and catch Green sleeping. But Green, good play, tipping the ball up and tipping the ball down.
Makes it a 2nd and 15 now. Once again, they drop back to pass. This pass out the flat, and it's thrown behind this intended receiver. That was Rock Hollis that it was intended for, but Gilliard threw that pass completely behind his receiver.
Rock Hollis, of course, is the son of Torrance head coach Rock Hollis. Rufus, 3rd down and 15. This is what the Olympians wanted Torrance to do. Now they can just tee off on the quarterback Gilliard, and it just might be interception time for the Olympians.
So let's see, with 7:30 left in the first quarter, what the 3rd and 15 play for Torrance is going to be. They line up in a shotgun. They send a couple of receivers out there. Quarterback still has it, drops a pass off. Big hit put on there by Devin Green. That pass was completed to Brandon Viette, but Devin Green laid some wood on him that time, Jason.
Rufus, Leuzinger playing a zone that time, and when the defense plays a zone, the offense, as we look at the replay, the offensive man thinks he's open, but no, Devin Green puts the leather on him, and now it's 4th and long. The Olympians are going to get it back, and Rashawn Cook, the worst nightmare for any special team.
And Rashawn Cook drops back deep. The up receiver is number 5, Eddie Miller. And anytime Rashawn is returned, it's always exciting, but they fake the punt. There's a pass in the flat, and it's incomplete. So the Olympians are going to take over on downs, and they're going to get excellent field position out of it. At the 35-yard line.
Once again, Devin Green right there, smells out the fake punt and makes the play.
A high-risk play for the Totters. They went for it. They're unsuccessful. And Leuzinger is going to get the ball. They're going to spot it at the, I said the 35. Actually, I should have said the 39-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Olympians in West Territory to open this drive. So Riley hands off to Eddie Miller. Eddie Miller picks up good yardage on the play.
Same play that Eddie Miller broke on, but to the other side. I said it was a gas earlier. That's a go. That means the offside guard is pulling and kicking out on the defensive end, and Eddie Miller running right up the alley. Good running that time by Eddie Miller, reading his blocking.
And the Olympians are just blowing them off the line at this point, fans. We've got 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Leuzinger leads by a score of 6-0, and they're threatening again on the failed fake punt attempt by the Torrance Totters. They call it 2nd down and 2 officially. This time they line up DeJuan Scott in the slot, but they keep it on the ground. And, well, they're going to be short of the 1st down. That was James Murray.
Murray got rid of that big red shirt, Rufus. He's going to play some receiver this week. Leuzinger going back to their power set after starting out in the 4 wide receiver position. As you look at James Murray, Rufus, Leuzinger often does this the week before they play Hawthorne to give the Cougars a little bit to think about, and I think it's working tonight.
This time Rashawn Cook split wide right to give it to Keith Miller. Instead, around the left side, Miller picks up first down as it goes around left tackle.
Rufus, they need to just keep giving it to Keith Miller, because I was always told if it ain't broke, why fix it? And Keith Miller 4 carries that right now. We said for Leuzinger to be successful for the rest of the season, he's going to have to touch the ball at least 15 times. We see him get outside, running over one man, running through another one, and Keith Miller running hard right now, breaking 3 tackles.
Great play by the Olympians. 1st and 10 now from the 25-yard line of West. Riley drops back to pass, goes over the middle, hits DeJuan Scott. Touchdown, Olympians. 25-yard touchdown pass from Ken Riley to DeJuan Scott. And now the Olympians lead by a score of 12-0 with the extra point attempt coming up.
Riley's first touchdown pass, I believe 7 games now, is DeJuan Scott open. The safety misreads it, and Leuzinger ahead early, it's 12-0 Rufus, but the Olympians, if they keep this up, they're just gonna wipe Torrance off of the field tonight.
Well, the Olympians had a power outage last week against Torrance, Peninsula, as they only put 8 points on the board, and already tonight in the first quarter, they've got 12. Here's the extra point attempt. That's Eddie Miller, and he converts the 2-point conversion. So the Olympians, with 4:55 left in the first quarter, lead by a score of 14-0, and that has to make Coach Bobby Greer real pleased right now with their effort.
Oh, does it make Bobby Greer looks like an offensive genius right now as he took over the play calling and make it quick 14 first half points, Rufus. The Olympians doing a good job as we look at the replay. DeJuan Scott, tail end of the play. DeJuan Scott needed that because he's been off a little bit this year. If they can get all their weapons cooking, Hawthorne better watch out next week. And so everybody in the playoffs that they play is going to have to watch out because this is a very talented Leuzinger ball club.
And of course, fans, we don't have to tell you that next week's contest between the Leuzinger Olympians and the Hawthorne Cougars to be held right here at Leuzinger High School will be brought to you by Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. So I know you're going to join us then as well. We'll talk a little more about that contest later in this broadcast. There's a kickoff. Looks like it may sail out. No, it doesn't. Makes it into the end zone. And it's an automatic touchback. Ball comes out to the 20-yard line. So West will begin their second drive of the night from their own 20-yard line.
Rufus, you were talking about the matchup next week between Hawthorne and Leuzinger. Hawthorne has a key matchup tonight with Inglewood, both teams with 2 league losses. Wow, that's a big game. But next week, Rufus, I already have my tickets.
Well, it's a good thing I get in free. Otherwise, you're right. I know it's going to be a full house here, as it always is, whether we're at Halcap Field at Hawthorne or over here at Olympian Stadium. 1st and 10 for Torrance now at their own 20-yard line. Peter Gilliard, the quarterback, keeps it on the ground. Very short gain given up that time by the Leuzinger defense. First quarter continues to roll down. We got 4:40 left in the first quarter with the Olympians leading by a score of 14-0.
Right now we're seeing a Torrance team with not many offensive weapons as they try and go off tackle, down 14-0, Rufus. Now it's 2nd down and long. They're going to have to go to the air sooner or later. Devin Green, James Murray, and Ken Riley are waiting for them.
Well, definitely when you're down by 14 points, although if you're on the Torrance side, at least it's still in the first quarter. Once again, they keep it on the ground. A little more success this time. They're going to spot it at the 28-yard line, make it a 3rd and 2 for the Totters of Torrance High. course, we got a big crowd here tonight, fans, as this is Homecoming 1996, and we'll have a sports royalty king and queen announced, and of course Channel 60 will be bringing you all of the halftime festivities. But we've got a long way to go before that. A lot of football left in this first half here. Once again, they keep it on the ground. They're going to be stopped short of the first down, and brings up another decision for the Torrance coaching staff. I'm not so sure that they'll want to go for it this time, Jason. This ball is spotted inside the 30-yard line. Last time they went for it, they gave the Olympians a bullseye opportunity at a touchdown, and the Olympians capitalized.
Nothing to surprise me, but they don't want to kick it to Rashawn Cook. Cook hungry, hasn't had his hands on the ball. Look out, Rufus.
Well, Rashawn Cook is deep to receive, and this time they are going to punt it away. Good high kick, somewhat short. Let's see, takes a Leuzinger bounce, and it's going to be down by Torrance.
The linemen have to get away from the ball, Rufus. You see Evelyn Smith near the ball. They got to get away from it. We saw against Inglewood a couple of weeks ago, Willard Coleman went and tried to catch the ball and dropped it, and Inglewood recovered.
So the Olympians will go on offense for the third time here in the first quarter. They've scored on their first two possessions. This being their third possession. It's at their own 47-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Olympians. We've got 2:50 left in the first quarter. Olympians lead by a score 14-0. See Keith Miller coming off to the sideline here. Riley drops back to pass. Riley takes it down, takes it himself. Riley's got running room. Riley's got the first down. Still on his feet, still running. Riley may go all the way, and he does. Touchdown! Ken Riley on a 53-yard touchdown run puts the Olympians up now by a score of 20-0 with the extra point attempt coming up. 53-yard touchdown run by Ken Riley, Jason.
We haven't seen this Leuzinger team since they played Santa Monica, Rufus. That run, Ken Riley, he had more flavor on that run than Kool-Aid, Rufus. Getting upfield. Riley likes to take off when he sees outside pressure. Ken Riley's playing better than he has all year tonight, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Olympian extra point attempt coming up. Should be Eddie Miller with the attempt. Devin Green with the hole. There's a snap. Kick is up, and it's good. Actually, is James Murray with the attempt. We got a flag on the play, so let's see what this is. If it's going to be against the Olympians. Still waiting for the official's indication. Personal foul against West, so the point will stand unless Coach Bobby Greer decides to take the point off the board. Of course, this can be assessed on the kickoff, and you would think that the Olympians will leave the point up.
Rufus, they're going to announce the call. Rufus, what we're seeing here tonight is a classical, more talented Leuzinger Olympians beating up on a lesser, more just smaller and not as athletic Torrance team. We're going to look at the replay of the touchdown. As we said, Ken Riley, he likes to run when he sees pressure from the outside. The defensive linemen don't keep their lanes, and then Ken Riley just taking off. Great awareness, great move, spin move right there. Riley looking like a running back. The Leuzinger Olympians look really good tonight.
Great run there by Kenny Riley, a 53-yard touchdown run. The Olympians have scored on all three possessions tonight, and right now, with 2:34 left in the first quarter, the Olympians have jumped out to a commanding 21-0 lead over an outclassed and outmanned Torrance Tartar team, and this does bode well. There you see again on the replay, Riley breaking tackles, and once he gets into the open, and that shows you the difference in the quality of players here, because you had a couple of guys who actually had their arms around Riley. And let's face it, he's a good player, but he's no Keith Miller or James Murray. that this guy can't be brought down, and he just broke through those guys like they were 6-year-olds.
When Kenny Riley's running, you can't stop him. You can only contain him, Rufus. But good block there by Rashawn Cook, sprung Riley. He deserves a lot of credit. Ken Riley stepping up, showing he's a leader by bringing this Leuzinger team home, and they're just walloping Torrance 21-0 first quarter.
Well, this is certainly the way you want to celebrate homecoming. And the West deep man fails to handle the kickoff. That's Barbosa. Let it sail to his head, goes into the end zone. So once again, a familiar refrain. The West Totters will start from their own 20-yard line. This is their third possession. They've failed to break midfield yet. Leuzinger's had 3 possessions, and they've scored on all 3 of theirs. Consequently, with 2:34 left in the first quarter, they lead by a score, 21-0. Gilliard now setting up on first down in the shotgun formation. Now we've got a stoppage of play by the referee as the Olympians take a timeout here with 2:34 left in the first quarter. Well, you can't ask for a much better start than this, Jason, to be celebrating homecoming and to get off to a 21-0 lead, scoring on your first 3 possessions.
Hey, I tell you, we were here a couple of weeks ago, and I believe Leuzinger was down 21-0 against Inglewood in the first quarter. But as we saw, Torrance likes to go out of the shotgun formation. This is not a good passing Torrance team. And when the Torrance quarterback goes out of the shotgun formation and they start to just try in desperation to get passes downfield, it tends to get really, really ugly, Rufus. So if they go out of the shotgun, Leuzinger may score a couple more times this quarter.
And right now, Ken Riley certainly has to feel good about his effort. Here's a guy who's come in. He scored 2 touchdowns tonight. He's got a 1-yard quarterback sneak and a 53-yard run, and, of course, a touchdown pass to DeJuan Scott. So right now, our first quarter player of the game has to be Ken Riley.
Right. You're right about that, Rufus.
All right, 1st and 10 for West now. Torrance. Let's see if they can get something underway here, fans. Of course, the Olympians don't care if they don't. They go to the air. There's a pass over the middle. That's a good effort. That's to Anthony Jones, and that's going to give him a first down on the play.
I tell you what, Leuzinger's in a zone right now, Rufus, and you can't let anybody run free over the middle like that. Somebody's got to give him a lick, like we saw Devin Green give a man earlier in the game. Eddie Miller usually is the guy that's going to give him a hit. You see the shotgun formation, Leuzinger not very good pressure. You can't let him throw the ball over the middle in the zone right there. Rashawn Cook's got to come up and make a big hit.
So West picks up a first down on the play. It'll be 1st and 10 for them. They spotted at the 34-yard line, 14-yard gain on that play. This time they keep it on the ground to the fullback, and that's going to be stopped after a very short gain. That's Paul Reese.
He's not having much success trying to run the ball up the middle against this Olympian team. Torrance, of course, just playing out the schedule. And I told you, Rufus, at the top of the telecast that if you get on top of this Torrance team early, they're going to hang their heads down. As I look across at the Torrance sideline, they don't look too enthusiastic about their chances in this ball game.
Well, they give him a gain of 1 on the play. Makes it a 2nd down and 9 from the 35. About a minute and a half left here in the first quarter. Slow-moving first quarter at that.
All those touchdowns, Rufus.
This time they send a man in motion. There's a snap. Gilliard drops back the pass. Hits his fullback, and he's going to be out near a first down. That's Paul Reese. As I mentioned, fullback coming out of the backfield. Pretty good play that time.
Excellent job that time by the Torrance offensive, getting Paul Reese out of the backfield. But I want you to look at the defensive end. He's on the left side of the defense. His name is Miguel Ponte. Ponte just going to stay outside. You see the quarterback, Gilliard, is going to try and get outside, but Ponte forces him to stay inside. Good discipline that time by the defensive end, Miguel Ponte.
All right, so it's a 3rd and 1 now from the 43-yard line for West. Let's see what kind of success they'll have on this 3rd down play. Big play for them. They keep it on the ground. Boy, that's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. They won't pick up the first down on that one. And once again, the West coaching staff, it seems like After every third down play, they've had a decision to make. Last time they were in this position, they went for it, and it cost them a touchdown. Let's watch the replay here, fans. Here you see they keep it on the ground. That's Paul Reese they give it to, and Reese gets stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. So it's a 4th down, 4th and 1 at the 43 for West.
Rufus, that's the end of the first quarter, and as I go, I want to say that Torrance's running game, our truck downstairs is getting more yards rushing the ball today.
And you're right, and that is the end of one quarter. And so after 12 minutes of action, the Leuzinger Olympians lead by a score of 21-0 over the Totters of Torrance High School. It'll be 4th and 1 coming up for Torrance when we come back to live action right after this break. For second quarter action, I'm going to be joined by Brian Knox, and we'll be back in just a moment on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60.
Plays to go, it'll be Carter's ball. 4th down. About a yard to go, the ball. On the 44.
Okay, so 4th and 1. And the Totters indicate they're going to go for it. It's quarterback keeper. And they pick it up. Pete Gilliard, the quarterback, keeps it himself, goes around left side for the first down. And that play has to do a lot for the spirit of the Totters, and it gives them a little bit of momentum, Brian.
Most certainly, they are a 1-5. They're an 0-5 team in the Bay League competition, and they need momentum.
Well, that play should give them some. Right now, they've been unsuccessful, and so far this has been their best drive of the game. Tartars at their own 46-yard line. 1st and 10 for them. They operate out of the I formation. Anthony Jones is a deep back, and number 84 on the offensive line for them moves, and of course that's Duke Feldmeyer. While the officials mark this off, gives me an opportunity to tell the fans that for the second quarter call, I'm being joined by Brian Knox, a familiar voice here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 this season. And in just a moment, Brian, I'll get you to share with us some information that you may have about the Torrance Totters. So it's a 1st and 15 now for Torrance. They keep it on the ground. They run a trap around the left side. Absolutely nothing on that play. The Leuzinger defenders defensive very well. Go ahead, Brian, jump in here.
Well, Torrance, the Torrance Charters, they're coached by Rock Hollis, and they run a run-and-shoot offense. And what they help to do is one of 3 things. They help to spread the defense out of their base formation, open the run inside, and then go into a man-to-man coverage.
All right, 2nd and 15 now for the Totters from the 42-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Gilliard drops back the pass, looks over the middle. Pass is tipped, nearly intercepted. Boy, Rashawn Cook had a hand on that and almost brought it down, but it fell just outside of his reach. It's going to make it a 3rd and 15 now for the Totters. And of course, Brian, the Totters with their 1-7 record. Let's look at the replay here as it goes across the middle. There you see it tipped. Rashawn Cook, it was actually tipped before it got to Cook, but Cook had a shot at it and fell just outside his grasp. So here's a 3rd and 15 play. We're in second quarter action, fans. 10:20 left in the half. There's a screen to the left side. He's got some running room to his tight end. Picks up the first down before he's pushed out of bounds over on the far side. So for the first time tonight, Torrance gets into Leuzinger territory. Looks like they're going to spot this at the Leuzinger 39-yard line, but there is a flag on the play. Here you see the replay once again. Out to the tight end. Big number 84, and he's showing some good running skills there. That's Duke Feldmeyer. They call a clip on the play.
Number 84, Duke Feldmeyer. He is their leading tackler on defense. He's also an excellent tight end for them. He's a good blocking back.
So it's going to be going to bring it back to a third down for the Olympians. I'm not quite sure how they mark this off, but they call it 3rd and 15. So even when the Tartars get a little bit of luck going their way, Brian, they catch a bad break that negates it. So once again, the quarterback drops back the pass, throws it over the middle, completes the pass, but it's going to be short of the first down. But this may be in a territory where their head coach, Rock Hollis, may go for it. Doesn't look like he is, though. You see their quarterback, Peter Gilliard, going off the field. So they're showing punt, dropping back to receive for the Olympians. To receive the punt is number 15, Devin Green. He's a deep man. Eddie Miller is the up man. And they do get the punt away, and it's going to sail out of bounds. Sails out at about the 25. He's going to step it back off to about, well, let's see. Now he's changing his mind. Looks like the 31-yard line is where they're officially going to mark it at. That punt sailed out of bounds, so they're going to mark it at 31-yard line. Would it be 1st and 10 for the Olympians, Brian?
As the Torrance Charter defense takes over, the key player to look for is number 4, Bill Marriott. He's had 100 tackles in this season. He is their free safety. And in their game against Redondo, he had 21 tackles, a season high.
Well, let's watch the Olympians come up to the line of scrimmage. There you see Riley bringing them up to the line of scrimmage. His backfield consists of Eddie Miller and Keith Miller. He gives it off to Keith Miller, who goes around the right side, picks up good yardage on the play. 8, maybe 9 yards, so make it a 2nd and short for the Olympians. Right now, Brian, the Olympians are just having their way with this Torrance Tartar team.
Coming in tonight, this was a crucial game for the Olympians. They were 3-2 in Bay League competition, and this was a must-win if they hope to get a playoff berth. Okay, and then they opened up drawing first blood with the quarterback sneak by Kenneth Riley, and they've been scoring and scoring quickly.
All right, 2nd down and 5 they're going to call. The scoreboard has to be wrong. It's 2nd and very short. They keep it on the ground. Looks like they're going to pick up the first down on this play, and they do. That's James Murray with the carry. We've got 7:22 left in the first half, fans. The Leuzinger Olympians lead by a score of 21-0. This is their 4th possession of the game, and so far they've scored on every possession. There you see James Murray on your camera. Very handsome-looking young man. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 now for the Olympians from the 43-yard line. Now we've got flags on the field. This may be the delay of game against the Olympians, and that's the indication from the referee. One of the few things that have gone bad for the Olympians tonight, Brian.
As I was mentioning, the Olympians, they've been scoring and scoring quickly. In their opening drive, they had 6 plays with 3 minutes, 10 seconds, and they have this quarterback sneak. And they also, in their second drive, they had 2 plays, 1 minute, 55 seconds, connection of Riley to Scott.
There we see a pass to Eddie Miller. Got a flag on the play. It's going to be way short of first down. Let's see what the flag's about, though. That flag came while the play was in progress. Actually, indication is that there are 2 flags on the play. Nonetheless, we've got 6:41 left in the first half. Leuzinger leads by a score 21-0. Let's go. Let's see if we can pick. Got a face mask call against the Totters. They apparently wave off the second flag. Let's watch the replay, see if we can pick up that face mask. There, Riley pumps fake. There's his pass. And I don't think. Let's look at it from another angle. Yet on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. There you see Eddie Miller with the reception. May see it coming here. And I think that's where you saw it, at the guy flying by. And of course, that gives the Olympians a big gain. Takes them now down inside West Territory. There's a nice little inside handoff to James Murray. Picks up a couple of yards on the play. Make it a 2nd and long now for the Olympians.
Another key player to watch out for the defense for the Torrance Charters is number 42, Shad McLaughlin. He's a sophomore, and he has around 60 to 70 tackles. And Coach Rock Hollis said that he is a very prolific player, and he's a good player to watch out for in the future.
All right, fans. Under 6 minutes left here in the first half. Leuzinger leading by a score 21-0. 2nd down and 7 from the 37-yard line of the Totters. Riley options back to Devin Green. He's got a lot of real estate around the right side. He's got enough for the first down as he gets down near the 20-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot it officially inside the 25. They're going to say he went out of bounds rather, at about the 24-yard line. Let's watch the replay here. There's the option. There's the pitch to Green. Green has a huge hold there on the right side. Heads upfield. Shows great running skills and is knocked out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Riley again looks to run the option. Riley slips and falls. He's going to say he's down. In fact, they're going to say it was a loss on the play, and that was due more so to Riley losing his footing, Brian, rather than any defensive play there by the Totters.
It looks like there's a lot of dirt around that area of the field, so I feel he just lost his footing. There's a lot of cleat tracks, and I'm sure he just lost his footing, that's all.
So make it a 2nd down and 12 now for the Olympians from the 27-yard line of West. We've got 4:45 left in the first quarter here.
Get off me.
This time they line up with Eddie Miller just in the backfield. They pass across the middle. Looks like that pass he threw right between both of his intended receivers. They're going to say that pass was intended for Tyrone Brooks, but Tyrone Brooks and Dewan Scott were both in the area.
One thing that the Torrance Charters cannot do is keep putting their defense on the field, because they're going to get tired, and that's going to eventually wear out, and the Leuzinger Olympians will continue to score on the Torrance Charters.
Well, they've got a big 3rd down play here, 3rd and 12 from the Torrance 26-yard line. Riley drops back the pass. Here's his pass over the middle. He got a flag on the play. And that flag was thrown early on this side of the field, away from where the pass was completed at. So we'll have to see how this call affects that play. Here's our referee with the signal. It's going to be a procedure call against the Olympians.
The Torrance Charters are certainly hampered this season by a lack of inexperience, a lot of youth, and they really have no standout players. They're in a rebuilding stage right now, and you can look for greater things in the future, I should say.
What'd you say, Brian? They are a very young team, and it's been a tough season for them. 1-7 overall, 0-5 in Bay League competition. But these guys have a lot of pride. You come out every night, and that's what you play for, is pride. Riley drops back the pass. Riley under some pursuit. Riley turns it upfield, keeps it himself, and he's going to be stopped way short of the first down. So to bring up a 4th down for the Olympians. And we'll see what the decision by the Olympian coaching staff is. It's going to be 4th and 14 for the Olympians.
Note the strategy by Coach Bobby Greer for the Leuzinger Olympians. He's running out the clock by just continually running, and he wants to prohibit the Torrance Charters from scoring at all.
Well, the Olympians are going to go for it here on the 4th and 14 from the 27-yard line. This is where you got to look deep. Riley lets it go. Pass intended for DeWine Scott falls incomplete. Gives us an opportunity on the change of possession to take a break right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 with the Olympians leading by a score of 21-0. All right, fans, we're back to live action. Just a couple of plays we missed there. On the first play, the Olympians were guilty of being offside. This possession started at the Olympian, at the Torrance Tartar 27-yard line. It became a 1st and 5 on the offside penalty against the Olympians. And then Torrance threw a pass out in the flat that fell incomplete. So it's a 3rd down and 5 from the 32-yard line. There's a quarterback, goes over the middle, and it's intercepted. That's Rashawn Cook with the interception. Cook has some running room. He needs one block. Doesn't get it, but he returns it to the 26-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Olympians, courtesy of the interception by Rashawn Cook. There you see Cook right there, 6 foot, 175-pound senior. And so Brian, just when it looks like it's going okay, it goes against him. Here you see on the replay, pass over the middle, where Rashawn Cook steady on the case, makes the interception, nice spin move, heads back upfield, and because he's a return man, he knows what to do with the ball when he gets it. Looking for a block, follows his blocking pretty well, but the Torrance defender was able to get in there, or actually one of the offensive players, and bring him down. Here's a pass out in the flat. One-handed catch by Rashawn Cook. Touchdown, Olympians. There you go. 26-yard touchdown pass from Ken Riley to Rashawn Cook. Boy, you had to see it to believe it. That was one-handed. Cook reached out with one hand, brought that one in, Brian. The Olympians are rolling tonight. You can't stop this train.
That catch by Rashawn Cook was certainly reminiscent of Anthony Carter, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. He's well known for making one-hand grabs. Very good. And I say that interception by Rashawn Cook was certainly reminiscent of his game against West Torrance Warriors, where he did have an interception for a touchdown.
Score 27-0. Extra point attempt coming up, fans. This has turned into a real rout. The only thing in question now is how wide will the margin of difference be between these two football teams tonight. We've got a flag on the play. We'll see what the official call is. And the referee is going to indicate that it's offside against West. I don't know why I want to call these guys West for some reason. I've blocked on that all night, and I apologize, fans. This is Torrance. Of course, we know we got 3 or 4 different Torrance teams. We got West, we got North, we got Torrance and South and so forth. But this is just plain Torrance tonight, the Torrance Tartars. And right now they're losing by a score of 27-0. Olympians keep it on the ground. James Murray with the carry for the 2-point conversion. And the Olympians now lead by a score of 29-0, Brian.
Rashawn Cook, he had his touchdown, and I must say he is excellent on, following his blocks. He is a kickoff returnman, so it's a little bit easier for him. I mean, he has the interceptions, he has the offensive ability as well. I mean, he's just an excellent player.
Great, and there you see, fans, the Olympians right now, we're still in first half action, leading by a score 29-0. If you didn't know better, you'd think these guys were modern day or somebody with the way they've racked up the points tonight. Of course, this sets the table real well for next week's game when they go in and take on the Hawthorne Cougars. Of course, the Olympians came in tonight ranked number 9 in Bay League action. Hawthorne's actually ranked number 5.
This win tonight will certainly give the Olympians the momentum they need in going crosstown and playing the Hawthorne Cougars.
Hawthorne, of course, in a very tough contest of their own tonight as they're taking on the Inglewood Sentinels. There's Barbosa handling the kickoff. Barbosa's got a hole, heads up the middle, got some running room. And whoa, brought down. Who was that Olympian? That was Eddie Miller with the carry that took Barbosa off his feet. But Barbosa, with the great return, brings it out to the 37-yard line, fans. Brian, why don't you call the action on the replay when they roll it in?
We're going to see the kickoff here by the Olympians. They kick it to number 22, Barbosa, for the Torrance Tartars. You see the spiraling kick. Barbosa catches it close to the 5, and he's following his blockers straight up field. And he's going to break one tackle here. You see the shoestring tackle there, and he stays on his feet, and he's met by his tackler.
And back to live action. Once again, they keep it on the ground. Actually, there was a pass attempt. I'm sorry, fans. That pass was intended for number 84 of West, and of course we know that that's Duke Feldmeyer, and that falls incomplete. So to make it a 2nd down and 10 for the Tartars now at their own 38-yard line. 2 minutes, 32 seconds left here in the first quarter. And if you're the Tartars, your strategy at this point has to be simple. Let's just control the ball, try to move it downfield, but whatever we do, don't give it back to these guys. The Olympians have scored on 4 out of their first 5 possessions here in the first half. Here's another pass. Pass is up, and were it not for 2 Olympians going for the ball, looks like that was Charles Taylor, number 8, if I'm not mistaken. And that is Taylor along with DeJuan Scott, who both were going for that pass. The Olympians would have had yet another interception.
I must point out, you're right, Torrance is unable to move the ball effectively. In their opening drive in the first quarter, they had to turn over the ball on downs, and then in their second play, they had to punt the ball. I mean, this is just ineffective movement of the chains. They have to elapse time off the clock.
Well, at this point, they've got to run time and score points. They're trailing by a score of 29-0 here in the first half. It's going to be a long night for the Tartars, it seems. Peter Gaillard, the quarterback, drops back the pass. Gaillard pulls it down himself. And he's met there by Devin Green, who was just laying in wait for him. And Gaillard not showing any kind of particular running skills. Instead of trying to put a move on him or fake him out, he runs right into him.
You see number 11, Gaillard, he's running because there's no receivers downfield. Okay, and he's met by his tackler there, who is Devin Green.
And Green was just laying in wait for him, brought him down. Punting situation now for Torrance. Back to receive is Devin Green. High snap, gets it down, gonna be a short kick. It's gonna sail out of bounds. Looks like that's gonna be taken, they're gonna mark it at the, indication is they're gonna mark it at the 40-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Olympians with 1:33 left in the first half. They lead by a score of 29-0 here on homecoming night 1996. Brian.
I certainly hope number 11, Pete Gaillard, the quarterback for Torrance Charters, doesn't have to run too much tonight because he's already had 2 concussions earlier this year. I mean, if he gets hurt, I mean, that can put them in a very bad position tonight.
All right. Let's see, operating out of the shotgun now. They fake the snap to Riley. Actually, Eddie Miller takes it. Pretty good defense shown by Torrance. Torrance played that one almost as if though they were insulted that the Olympians would go to a trick play on them. Give the Tartars some defense there. They weren't fooled on that play at all, Brian.
Not at all. They have to regroup now. They're in their base 3-4 defense there. I must commend them. They're doing an excellent job in trying to contain.
Well, we're under a minute left here in the first half. Leuzinger with a 29-0 lead. Torrance simply hopes to control the damage at this point to 29 points. Once again, the Olympians keep it on the ground. Maybe a game of 1 or 2. Let me take this opportunity to remind you, fans, as the first half winds down. We've got a timeout on the field. Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 will bring you the entire halftime festivities as we celebrate Homecoming 1996. A sports royalty king and queen will be crowned tonight, and you can see it right here live on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. So Brian, as we look ahead just a little bit while we're in this timeout, you talk about momentum. If things hold up the way they're going, and unless the Olympians have a complete collapse in the second half, man, they're going to go into the game next week against Hawthorne, which they happen to have on their home field right here at Olympian Field, sky high.
That would certainly give the Olympians an advantage being at home, having this great crowd behind them.
And coming off what may prove to be a huge victory. Low snap, but Riley picks it up. Riley drops back to pass. Whoa! His receiver got turned around. That pass was intended for Chris Rogers.
Riley threw the ball on the outside when the receiver was looking for the ball inside.
Although it looks like that was catchable. Here you see the replay here. And in all fairness to Chris Rogers, he was turned around just a little on that play. And by the time he located the ball over his other shoulder, just a little too late. Pass falls incomplete. Otherwise, you got another 6 points on the board for the Olympians. 34 seconds left here in the first half, fans. Olympians lead by a score, 29-0. It's a 4th down and 10 for the Olympians. They fake the punt, and Devin Green keeps it. I'm not sure what that pass was intended to do. Looks like Devin Green wanted the pass, but he's going to give West possession at the Olympian 30-yard line with 24 seconds left, and West has at least a chance to take a couple cracks at the end zone, Brian.
I have to disagree with Coach Bobby Greer's choice in passing the ball. I think he should run the clock out. I mean, he's 29. He has 29 points for his Leuzinger Olympians, and they just need to go in the locker room with this advantage.
Well, let's see how West utilizes these last 24 seconds. Right now, they're down by a score of 29-0, but if you ask me, West has nothing to lose by taking at least a couple of cracks in the end zone. I mean, you just line them up and you tell your two best receivers run as far as you can, as fast as you can, and we're just going to lay it up and see what happens.
Well, why run the risk when you don't have to, Rufus? They're passing the ball in end zone, and it could be very dangerous. They could run the chance of intercepting the ball, and the Torrance Chargers could run it back for a touchdown. I mean, why do it when you don't have to?
Well, no guts, no glory, and if nothing ventured, nothing gained. But you're right. I mean, it might be a safer strategy to get out of this half. Only trailing by 29. Looks like you're going to have a flag, but instead it looks like they're going to take my advice. And just as you said, why do that? They're going to give the Olympians the ball on the interception by DeJuan Scott. But at least they showed good defensive coverage. I mean, the way things are gone, DeJuan could have run that back. So they give him the ball, but it looks like they should get out of this with no harm.
With the losing Olympians, they just say, well, there's only so much the Torrance Chargers can do. They're down 29 points, so they figure they're going to pass the ball. So they just drop their DBs back in coverage and just wait for the ball to come.
All right, we got 11 seconds left here in the first half. Leuzinger leading by a score of 29-0. Riley drops back. Riley throws the ball. Beautiful tight spiral. And it falls incomplete. Intended for number 9 of the Olympians right off of his fingertip. That's Jeremiah McGee. And that was right off of McGee's fingertip. But that was one of the prettiest passes I've seen Riley throw all season, Brian. That was a nice, tight spiral that was right on the money.
Well, the losing Olympians' potent running game is opening up their passing game. They're very effective. And once you have a good ball control offense, there's so much you can do. And that's evident tonight while the Olympians are 29 up.
And Riley, of course, and we'll get to that in a moment, but the Olympians keep it on the ground. That was Eddie Miller with the carry. And that will end the first half of action, fans. So, after 24 minutes, the Leuzinger Olympians lead the visiting Torrance Tartars by a score 29-0 on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Halftime's coming up, fans. Let me remind you that Channel 60 will bring you the entire halftime festivities, including the crowning of Mr. and Miss Sports Royalty 1996 for Leuzinger High School. I want you to stay right where you are, enjoy the festivities, and we'll be back with you at the beginning of the third quarter on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60.
What? Dude, call your shots, man.
candidate Grace Salamanca. Grace Salamanca. Her team was Jillian Island, sponsored by the Baptist Club. Grace is represented by Jose Sasquatch. She would like to thank her mom and dad, brothers and sisters, and all of her friends. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 1996 Sports Royalty candidate. Can we have a nice round of applause? Attention, ladies and gentlemen. The red hot rod on the other side of the track is carrying 1995 Sports Royalty Queen. She is about to pass her crown on to the 1996 candidate.
I'm here, Mike. Got nothing on my monitor, though. Hold on. Sorry about that. Robert's down here trying to get it corrected now. All right, fans, we're back for the second half action now on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 6 to the Olympians kicking off to West. That's Barbosa handling the kickoff. Barbosa comes up the middle, has some running room, but he's going to be brought down by a host of Olympians at about the 31, 32-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Totters here to open the second half from their own, well, let's call it the 30-yard line officially. Jason, big first half for the Olympians as they lead by a score of 29-0.
What we say the Olympians had to do to be successful for the rest of the season? Keith Miller would have to get the ball, Rashawn Cook would have to get the ball, and Ken Riley would have to throw touchdown passes. They did all of that in the first half. They looked excellent.
Robert's here trying to get the monitor straightened out as we're in live action. Okay, there's a pass out in the flat. 1st and 10. It's going to make it a 2nd down and 5 on the completion by Torrance here to open the second half. Their quarterback, Peter Gilliard. Right now we're operating without the benefit of our monitor, but we'll work through that, fans, as we always do right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Out of the I formation, they hand off to the first back through, who's a fullback. And he's going to be about a yard short, maybe 2 of the first down as it goes around left guard on that play.
Rufus Leuzinger looking really good tonight on offense and special teams. Hawthorne's going to have trouble next week stopping these Olympians. We are in for an excellent game next week, but for this half, if you're a Torrance fan, you just have to hope that they just don't get embarrassed any further, as the Olympians' defense has looked just as good as the offense.
So it's a 3rd down and 1 for the Totters now from the 39-yard line, let's call it. Once again, they keep it on the ground. That's a big fullback. He goes around left side once again, picks up the 1st down. So right now, Jason, the offensive momentum for Torrance here in the second half has been a lot better than it was in the first half.
I'll tell you what, I think what Torrance is trying to do is establish some sort of consistent offensive, they're trying to be consistent on offense, trying to do anything as they just run the ball to the fullback on the bellies. That's not, of course, that's not going to bring them back, Rufus, but that may give them a little bit more confidence going into next week's game.
All right, it's a 1st and 10 now for the Totters at the 47-yard line. Their own 47 it is. They keep it on the ground once again. And they run a beautiful fake on it that time, Jason. Looks like their fullback, number 44, had to carry. Actually, it was a quarterback keeper, though, with an option.
Rufus, Torrance is trying the option play. They think that they can beat the Olympians, but the Olympians' defense looks just too good tonight. I don't think that they'll give up at all. Leuzinger, of course, coming in, showing blitz with Eddie Miller, and as they go with the option again, Jones knocked down by Brett Seward. Rufus working on the monitor, that's why he's not here right now. That's the way to go by the Olympians on the option. You've got to stay with your assignment, and they do a good job right there with Anthony Jones. Let's look at the hit on the quarterback. Big hit that time. You want to make the quarterback pay for it if he wants to run the option. Good gang tackling that time by the Olympians.
All right, around here at Channel 60, we all do a little bit of everything. I had to get down and take care of the monitor for a second there, but my good friend Jason bringing you the play-by-play coverage. A jack of all trades he is, not only play-by-play but color. This time they do keep it on the ground to their fullback, number 44. Short gain, that's Paul Reese.
Speaking of jack of all trades, DeJuan Scott's really done it tonight with an interception, and then on offense he scored a touchdown. He's really looked nice tonight, and he's the key for the Olympians. He's that extra player that could bring the Olympians over the top.
Tartars line up in a punt formation, and they go through with it. Devin Green back to receive. Devin lets it take a bounce. Now he decides to move away from it, and it's going to take a Tartar roll deep into Olympian territory at about the 7-yard line. So it's 7:35 left in the third quarter. Leuzinger's going to get the ball at their own 7-yard line.
Let me tell you what, that was a good play by Green to let that thing go, but let me tell you, I know Devin, and Devin wanted to pick that thing up and take it the distance, but wise choice that time by Green. You're up by 29 points. No need to get extravagant.
Well, let's see how the Olympians operate out of this hole deep in their own territory. Of course, things look a whole lot prettier when you're leading by 29 points as they are, scored 29-0 here in the third quarter. Riley back to pass, goes across the middle. That's going to draw a flag, interference on the Torrance defender. That pass intended for Rashawn Cook. And the Torrance defender, number 32, Jason, was draped all over him, and that was Mark Holly. And Holly was all over Rashawn Cook.
Yeah, the easy pass interference, but what I'm encouraged by, Ken Riley looking over the whole field, and he's choosing his receiver. That's the Ken Riley I know. And for that Ken Riley to show up now, it's better late than never. He's showing up late, but he's shown up.
Well, it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Olympians now. All right, they spot the ball at the 20-yard line. So it takes the Olympians out of a hold. This drive started at their own 7. Riley under center. Riley hands off to the second back through. Looks like Keith Miller goes around right side. Looks Eddie Miller instead. Knew it was Miller. When you look in the Olympian backfield, your choices are Miller and Miller. One Miller wears 4, that's Keith. Eddie wears number 5. They give it to Eddie that time. There is a flag on the play, though. And it's going to be holding against the Olympians, Jason.
Too bad that was holding, because Eddie Miller ran like the score was tied. Eddie Miller running hard right there, looking like his namesake Keith Miller. He's done a terrific job, not only today, but he's getting better every game. I'm glad to see that.
That penalty will take the Olympians back to their 10-yard line.
Rufus, this may be a blessing in disguise for the Olympians, because they can beat this Torrance team deep all night long. Slow corners, slow safety for the Tartars. DeJuan Scott's a deep threat for the Olympians right now.
So it's a 1st and 20 for the Olympians now from their own 10-yard line. This time they keep it on the ground. It's Eddie Miller with the carry. Eddie Miller breaks a couple of tackles. Eddie got a fumble on the play. They called it. Let's see. The side judge is indicating that the ball was already down. It did pop a loose. Torrance got on top of it, but referee said no. In fact, the side judge said no. It was already down.
Eddie Miller running with his heart on his sleeve. He's really running the ball well, running hard, keeping his feet moving. And the ref says the ground calls a fumble that time. You're going to get those when you're striving to get extra yards. Eddie Miller right now is losing his workhorse.
So it's a 2nd down and 16 for the Olympians. They give them a gain of 4. Need to get the ball out to the 30-yard line, just outside the 30, it would appear, to pick up the 1st down.
They can go deep anytime, Rufus.
Drops back to pass here. There's his pass. Hits his intended receiver. Is that Rashawn Cook? Yes, it is. And Cook's going to go all the way. Touchdown. No flags on the play, fans.
Rufus.
Touchdown, Olympians.
Ken Riley with a perfect strike. I was on the sideline. I was telling him, let that thing go deep. You can beat him at any time downfield. He beats him downfield. Rashawn Cook running on the streak down the sidelines. 88-yard touchdown. Ken Riley looks great. Rashawn Cook looks great. And this spells bad news for Hawthorne.
And Ken Riley has had a huge night tonight.
Huge. He's had an obese night.
Right. And that touchdown pass, 86 yards to Rashawn Cook. Extra point attempt coming up. Eddie Miller to make the attempt. That scored 35-0 right now. Kick is up, and it's blocked. Got a flag on the play, though. Got a flag on the play, but right now the Olympians lead by a score, 35-0 over the Torrance Totters.
Rufus, as they say, the replay is a personal foul against the defense. The Leuzinger Olympians player, Rashawn Cook, he's had the best league season any skill position player has had in a long time at Leuzinger, any of them, period. Rashawn Cook looking like a Bay League Offensive Player of the Year right now as he's just eating up this Torrance defensive backfield, and he's done this all season long, Rufus. Once again, I was a Swami, Rufus. I called it. I said, look for Leuzinger to go deep. And
exactly.
What do you know?
Exactly. And
I should get paid for this.
And they hooked up on an 86-yard play. Let's see the Olympians change here, and it looks like they are. They changed to show that they're going for the two-point conversion. They give it to Eddie Miller, and the indication that it's good. A bit late coming from the officials. Tack on 2 more points. Makes it 37-0 now in favor of the Olympians over the Torrance Totters. And the Olympians have scored every way possible. And boy, if you were giving out Player of the Game awards, and here you're going to see the replay here. There's a pass completion to Rashawn Cook. And Rashawn Cook, with his speed, just outruns the 2 defenders for Torrance.
I'm sorry, Rufus. Here's another look at that. Kenny Riley stepping right into the hit, man-to-man coverage, no safety help. Rashawn Cook outrunning the cornerback with his speed, and number 7, forget about it. As Rashawn Cook looks like looks like a 100-meter runner. Perfect stride right that time by Cook.
And again, a big, big night for Kenny Riley. Obviously, his best night of the season. The Olympians have scored so many different ways tonight. They've scored on every possession except for one tonight, as a matter of fact. And with 37 points on the board, that's 6 possessions, and they've scored on 5 of them. Short kickoff. Looks like it may sail out of bounds, and it does. Flags will go against the Olympians, so the Tartars will start at their own 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
Rufus, this is not only Ken Riley's best game of the season, this is his best game since last year against Torrance. He wants to play Torrance every week as he threw bombs up and down the field that time.
And who can forget the beautiful pass to DeJuan Scott that DeJuan Scott brought in with one hand for a touchdown in the 2nd quarter.
Rufus, is so ironic that a couple weeks ago it was 35-0. Leuzinger was down. Tonight they look totally different. Totally different Leuzinger team. Coach Greer's changes have seemed to work. He's calling the plays. He's put 37 points on the board. He's changed the offense a little bit. Terrific coaching job right now by Bob Greer with this Leuzinger team.
So Leuzinger is going to kick again instead of, and this is a slightly different wrinkle in the way this play is handled. If it sails out of bounds, normally you would think that it's taken, well, they mark it off and start the drive at the 40, but instead the Olympians are kicking over. And this time they keep it in the field of play. Once again, it's Barbosa. He's gotten a lot of work tonight. Boy, probably wish he hadn't gotten as much as he had. And Chris Rogers, along with some other Olympians, down there on the hit.
Rufus, Juan Barbosa looked like a pinball that time as he was just knocked from player to player. Each player getting in on the tackle that time. Right now, it's pump up your stats time for the Leuzinger defense. They know Torrance. Well, Torrance has shown us they want to run the ball this half, but if Torrance puts the ball in the air, it's just going to be party time for those Olympian defensive backs.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Tartars now. They operate out of the I. They give it to the first man through. That's Reese. And Reese is going to get a short gain on the play. But you're talking about when you look forward to next week, you can expect to see some big hitting between Buck McCorvey hitting on the Hawthorne side of the ball Keith Miller and others on the Leuzinger side of the ball. I mean, leather's going to be flying all over the place next week.
Leather's going to be flying. Fur from the Cougars is going to be flying. Rings from the Olympians are going to be flying all over the field. Rufus, I'm going to try and be fair that game, but it's going to be tough.
I would encourage you fans, it's going to be a full house to get here very early, and that's no joke. You probably ought to be here. Game time is 7:30, around 6:30 or so. Torrance takes it out to midfield. It's going to be a first down for them. Once again, they've had spots where they've shown some offensive momentum, Jason, but they haven't been able to sustain it as we look at the replay. Once again, their fullback with the carry, dragging a couple of Olympians there with them before he's finally brought down, but they haven't been able to sustain it long enough to put points on the board.
Yeah, no quit that time. Reese keeps on trying, Rufus. That's what they want to see.
1st and 10. Once again, we haven't called Jones' name much tonight, and of course, he is actually the feature back in this offense. Once again, they give it to Reese. Reese takes it into Olympian territory at the 45-yard line of the Olympians.
All right, Rufus, as we were looking ahead to next week, here's what I believe. If the Hawthorne Cougars have beat the Inglewood Sentinels tonight, and this game in Santa Monica loses to Peninsula, which I believe that they will, the last game of the season, Hawthorne and Leuzinger will fight for second place. And if Leuzinger wins, they'll get second. Hawthorne will get third. If Leuzinger loses, Leuzinger, I believe, will get fourth, and Inglewood will get third. So it's a big game, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Big game. If we get a chance, we'll put those standings up for you once again. Here's the option back. Woo. Big hit over on the Olympian side of the field.
Devin Green has laid face mask. The Torrance quarterback that time, he's going to have the word bike written all across his chest because the bike from Devin Green's helmet, the insignia, just hit him right in the chest, and I'm surprised he didn't lose his win that play. Let's look at the replay this time. It's in slow motion, but you're going to absorb the hit. This is not for the faint of heart. Boom! Big hit that time for the Olympians, Devin Green.
So it's a 3rd down and 4 from the Olympian 44 for the Totters now. Once again, they hand it off to their big fullback, number 44, Paul Reese. Reese is going to be stopped short with no gain on the play. And you would expect to see Torrance go for it again here. Okay. Once again, fan, let's look at the Bay League standings here. Here you see, and this is coming into tonight's competition. In league play, which is the most important thing, Peninsula on top at 4-0. Actually 5-0. That's last week's standings, if I'm not mistaken.
Basically, for Hawthorne and Leuzinger, if they win the rest of the way out, they're in.
Of course, that's an impossibility considering they play next week. So somebody may be in and somebody may be out, depending upon how things go tonight.
Heck, last year I was on the Olympian team, and the Hawthorne game didn't mean much because we were out of the playoffs. I just might throw me on a uniform and get out there next week. You never know.
Flag on the field. You see, it looks like, delay a game. Going to be called against the Totters. It's going to back it up to the midfield stripe. So now it's going to be a 4th down and 9 from the 49-yard line. Torrance in an eye. They fake the handoff. Their quarterback has it. He drops back to pass. Hits his receiver, big number 84. They've got the first down and then some as they take it down to the 21-yard line. And this is Torrance's deepest penetration of the night. That's David Villanueva, the tight end, with the reception. And a couple of things are starting to click just a little bit for Torrance now.
Yeah, Rufus, if you're familiar with Nebraska football, they run that play. They'll option, fake the option, pull the quarterback back, send the tight end down the field. As you look, there's the option. The fake handoff, perfect fake that time by the quarterback, just throws a perfect pass over the middle. And Torrance hadn't given up yet.
That was Charles Taylor and Jamal McGee on the coverage for the Olympians. Now we got a flag on the play. Referees blow the play dead. which would seem to be an indication that that's going to be against the offense of Torrance. Got 2:43 left here in the third quarter, fans. Okay, now here are the standings coming into tonight's contest. Of course, Peninsula on top, no surprise there. Santa Monica with a 4-1 record, they would look to be in. Santa Monica plays at Peninsula next week. Leuzinger and Hawthorne tied for third place right now with 3-2 records. And as you say, Leuzinger obviously is going to win tonight to go up to 4-2. And Leuzinger. Yeah. And of course, if Santa Monica were to lose Peninsula, which is now the realm of possibility, as we know, Leuzinger, having defeated Santa Monica early in the season, would earn the second place berth in the Bay League.
Rufus is a former Olympian. I think this Leuzinger team is going to beat Hawthorne next week. I'm willing to bet if Leuzinger loses to Hawthorne, I'll wear a Hawthorne beanie to the Hawthorne playoff game. How about that?
Well, we'll have to see that, fans. You heard it right here, live on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Just uttered by Jason Miller.
I just been told I was motivating the Hawthorne team.
Of course, he's got a heck of an advantage playing the game on his home field, and with his team coming in with the kind of momentum they're going to have tonight. Right now, they're pitching a shutout, 37-0 here in third quarter action. Let's see if they can keep it going. Torrance is threatening right now. Torrance keeps it on the ground.
Well, Rufus, if Hawthorne loses tonight, though, the Hawthorne-Leuzinger game will be for third place, period. If Hawthorne loses tonight and wins against Leuzinger, they'll get the third place. And if Leuzinger wins tonight and loses to Hawthorne, they'll get the fourth place.
So we got a lot of playoff implications involved, fans. Best thing to do to sort it all out is to be right here with us next week on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 as we bring that game to you. Once again, they're running the option. Here's the pitch back. Leuzinger defenders cover it well.
Rufus, quarterback Galliard is running the option perfectly, but Leuzinger's defense is quick, and they're staying with their assignment, so Torrance can't get anything. We're going to look at the replay, Rufus. You see they meet the fullback, perfect. They come back and meet the quarterback, perfect. And then they swarm the tackle. Perfect execution by the defense by the Olympians.
That was Roger Valdivia, number 6, on the carry for the Totters. They gave him a loss of 2 on the play. It's going to make it a second down and 11 now from the 11-yard line. This time they give it to Reese, except they're running a reverse. They run it to number 81. And he's going to be driven out of bounds, boy, but that was a block put on Miguel Ponte that he won't soon forget.
Woo-wee! He may have forgotten everything else that's happened this week, but he's not going to forget that hit. Big hit that time by the offensive linemen. As they try to get outside, Rufus, still good staying home by James Murray. He stayed home, so they didn't just break around the outside. Torrance, of course, not with all the speed in the world. That was Viet tried to get around the outside, but nothing doing.
So it's a third down and 9 now for the Totters from the 9-yard line. So basically it's third and goal. They fake the handoff. There's the pass. Knocked down. Let's see. Was that Chris Rogers in on that? Looks
yes,
like
that was Chris Rogers, Rufus. Perfect play by Chris Rogers, diving out for that ball. Rogers showing up tonight. He's played a great. That's James Murray with Chris Rogers' name.
Yeah. Good eye, Jason. Good eye. That was just a trick to see if you fans were awake out there. But no, it's late. Want to make sure you're still with us right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. West is going to go for it, Jason. This has been their best scoring opportunity. Let's see if the Olympians can keep the shutout alive. There's the pass. It's going to be close. It's brought down. The Olympians hold them on 4th and goal, and the ball will go over to the Olympians. Of course, if you're West, you really had no alternative there except to go for the score.
Devin Green, outweighed by some 50 pounds, comes up and makes a big hit. Leuzinger takes over. And let me tell you something. If Leuzinger goes back to pass, Ken Riley likes to throw deep no matter how many points he's up. So we still may have not seen the end of scoring as it's 37-0 third quarter.
That's right. The Olympians right now holding a commanding 37-point lead. Let's watch the replay again. You'll see this hit come in right here.
Ooh.
There you see Devin Green put the hit
That's what
on big number 44, Paul Reese.
that stuff what doctor's bills are made of right there, Rufus. Good hit. Let me tell you, Leuzinger's Jerry Rice or Sean Cook is in the game right now, and they could go to him, of course, at any time.
We've got a timeout on the field. Right now, the Olympians leading by a score 37-0 over the Torrance Totters here in third quarter action with 1:12 left. Of course, that gives us a chance again to talk about one more time next week's contest, which is going to be right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60, Jason. Promises to be a big one, and as we've said before and have tried to get the fans to understand, there are a lot of playoff implications, and both of these teams have enjoyed going to the playoffs for the last several years. Somebody may get squeezed out next week,
Oh,
so
yes.
you'll want to be here to see that one.
If Leuzinger loses, they'll end up in fourth, so they'll be squeezed out. Or if Hawthorne lose, you know. But let me tell you something, Rufus. The home team usually wins the game in this series. That's basically why I'm picking the Olympians. You see this beanie on my head? It's going to be a Cougar when if Leuzinger loses.
Well, Channel 60 Sports will be there, and I know you will join us, fans, right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 6. Here's the Olympians' first down play. They open by keeping it on the ground to the fullback, Eddie Miller. A lot of movement, not a lot of gain. Kept his feet going.
That's just Eddie Miller, Rufus. Eddie Miller runs hard, plays hard every down. He knows he's not going to get any yards. He just likes to hit. He shows it right there.
And all they're doing, one might argue, is that they're setting up Torrance for the big pass. You know?
Yeah. Well, Cook
See-
going out. Their other deep threat is DeJuan Scott. He's not in. Charles Taylor, as I see him come to the near side, he's this sort of scat back, catch one short and break it long.
Charles Taylor, as Jason said, over here on the near side. Riley under center. They keep it on the ground again. This is going to be for a very short gain. Olympians getting a little bit conservative here. That should be the last play of the third quarter as we roll down under 15 seconds left.
Yeah,
So-
Rufus, or excuse me, yeah, Rufus. They're getting conservative now, but they can be conservative. They can be right wing conservative because they're up 37-0.
And there you see, after 3 quarters, fans, the Leuzinger Olympians at home are defeating the Torrance Tartars by a score of 37-0. When we come back to live action, it's going to be 3rd down and 10 for the Olympians from their own 5-yard line, right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. All right, fans, let's start 4th quarter action. We've got 12 minutes left in this massacre. Olympians 3rd down and 10 from their own 5-yard line. This is their 7th drive of the game. They've already converted on 5 of them. And there's the pass. Riley's one of the few incompletions by Riley. This time the Olympians will have to punt. Gives us an opportunity to offer our congratulations to Brandy Hendricks, who was crowned Miss Sports Royalty 1996 for the Olympians. Congratulations to Brandy and all of her supporters, and I'm sure a very proud family. Back to punt for the Olympians. Number 5, Eddie Miller. Olympians rushing DeJuan Scott in on the field. He gets set. A lot of movement here. You may have a delay of game pretty soon if this play doesn't get underway. High snap and gets the kick away. Barbosa handles it, drops it for a moment, picks it up. He's got some running room around the right side. Still on his feet, breaks a couple of tackles before he's finally driven out of bounds over on the far side, inside the 20-yard line. So let's see what this flag's gonna be. Looks like there were 10 guys on the field for the Olympians. So out of all that, it's gonna be Eddie Miller kicking again. Out of this, the Tartars should get excellent field position. High snap, they nearly block it. Another flag on the play. Barbosa once again handling. Barbosa reverses field. He saw James Murray in his sights, and he's gonna be driven down. Looks like Miguel Panty in on the stop there, along with number 23 for the Olympians. And of course, we know that number 23 is Brian Bruno. But once again, there were flags on the play.
Well, I must point out that number 22, Barbosa, he was a little hesitant on the play. He should have committed to run one way instead of hesitating and trying to run east and west. When you run kickoff, well, I should say punt returns, you must run north and south. You must run up and down the field and not side to side.
Well, we've got another call, and it looks like it's going to go against West. I mean, can't believe how many times I've said that tonight. Against Torrance. There you see the official signal that the penalty was against the Tartars. Okay, that's what the indication is. It was 12 men on the field. So even when Torrance has things going their way, all right, a penalty keeps the ball in the Olympians' possession, and they had the Olympians pinned deep in their own territory, Brian. Olympians keep the ball on the ground. That's Devin Green. Give Green a pretty decent gain on the play, close to 6 yards. And there's Devin Green on your screen, 5'9", 170-pound junior.
The entire Torrance High School athletic department is somewhat hampered this season. I covered the girls volleyball team, and they lost against North Torrance 3-0.
All right, 2nd down and 6 now from the 27-yard line. From their own 27 it is for the Olympians. Here's a pitch back to Eddie Miller. And Miller's gonna be stacked. Well, Miller's still churning. Boy, they had him stopped for a second. They was about to call him down, and they let him get away.
Rufus, Eddie Miller right now looks like Roger Craig. They can't stop him.
So they take it out to the 28-yard line. It would appear, looks like it's going to be a 3rd down, and well, they're going to call it the 30 officially. It's going to be a 3rd down and 4 for the Olympians. Looks like we've got a quarterback change here for the Olympians now. Make note of this, fans, if we can get in there. You got Devin Green at quarterback for the Olympians. There's a pitch back to Eddie Miller. Eddie Miller's got some running room. You're going to have a clipping called on the play. This is going to come back, fans. Eddie Miller fumbles, but you had a clip on the play against the Olympians. This one's going to come back.
That was clipping by Rashawn Cook on number 21 for the Torrance Tartars, Nasuf Mola.
There you see Eddie Miller. Miller with the big carry. We're going to see the clip coming up here. And there it is, Rashawn Cook. It was easy to call that one. The referee didn't miss it at all. That'll go against the Olympians.
Rufus, you see the extra dimension Devin Green adds at quarterback. He runs the option as well as any high school quarterback I've ever seen. But Ken Riley's done the job tonight. The Olympians should feel secure that he's their quarterback right now.
So this penalty is going to move the Olympians back to their 12-yard line. It's going to be a 3rd down and 24. Olympians need to get it out to the 36-yard line, Brian. Once again, a big play for the Torrance defense coming here. Devin Green running. Devin Green calls his own number. He keeps it. He goes around the side. Green's got some running room, but he's going to be brought down. It would appear to be short of the 1st down.
Well, the Leuzinger Olympians, they do a good job of stretching the Torrance Charters defense. You saw the option play there by Devin Green. Did an excellent job of running all the way. He eludes tacklers, and he picks up on his blocking.
And he picks up enough yards for the 1st down. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Olympians. They spot the ball at the 34-yard line. We've got 9 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Olympians pitching a shutout, 37-0 right now. As we mentioned, there has been a quarterback change. Devin Green now the quarterback for the Olympians. James Murray with the carry. Murray's going to pick up about 6 yards on the play. So the Olympians, Brian, are breaking off yards in big chunks right now against this overmatched Tartar football team.
Yeah, you see an excellent exhibition of ball control by the Leuzinger Olympians. They're running the ball, which is running time off this clock, and they're moving the change for 1st downs.
So a 2nd down and 3 from the 42-yard line for the Olympians now. There's a fake. Ball's loose on the ground. Let's see. Torrance has it. Recovered by the Tartars. On the exchange, the ball came loose, and it was recovered by the Tartars. Recovering for them was Shed McLaughlin. So the Tartars catch a break there.
Yeah, I must point out that's one of the few highlights for the Torrance Charters tonight. Number 42, Shad McLaughlin, he is one of their best players. He is a sophomore, and we look for greater things for him in the future.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Tartars now. Tartars keep it on the ground. There it is, their quarterback. Peter McGualty with the carry. Or I should say Peter Gilliard with the carry. It's going to make it a 2nd down and 2 now. Right now, if you're Torrance, Brian, more than anything else, you at least want to put some points on the board. The game is obviously out of reach, but again, there's a pride factor involved. Nobody likes to be on the short end of a shutout. Torrance is going to try to score. Let's see if the Olympians can keep the shutout going. Paul Reese with the carry. Reese picks up the 1st down.
Yeah, they need a quick score right here to gain some confidence for their team. I would expect them to pass the ball in this situation here.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Tartars now at the 19-yard line of the Olympians. Mix up there on the handoff. Boy, he almost handed it off to the Leuzinger defender on that play. Made a wise decision to keep it himself. Gilliard takes another big hit. As you mentioned earlier, Brian, Gilliard has 2 concussions, and every time he gets hit, you have to be concerned for the young man.
Yes, most definitely. What you just saw in the last play was a weak side blitz by number 21, Akan Ubia. That was for the Torrance, that was for the Leuzinger Olympians.
So it's a 2nd down and 13 now from the 22-yard line of the Olympians. Torrance trying to capitalize here on the fumble. There's a pass out in the flat. And do we get a flag on this? No flag. Good defensive coverage there by the Olympians. That pass was intended for Feldmeyer. Makes it a 3rd and 13 now. So the Tartars letting their opportunities slip through their hands, Brian.
Yeah, Peter Gilliard, he just threw that ball a little bit too far ahead of his intended receiver on that last play.
Well, they line up out of the shotgun this time. Gilliard drops back to pass. Gilliard throws his pass in the flat, hits his receiver. No, they say he was out. The pass was completed to number 10, Brendan Brees, but they say that Brees was out of the back of the end zone, so nothing. Every time they get there. Let's look at the replay, fans, right here. See the pass here by Gilliard. Reception made there. Boy, that looks awfully close, but they say it was out of bounds. So it's a 4th and 13 from the 22-yard line. The Tartars obviously going for it again. They need to get to the 9-yard line at least to keep this drive alive. Out of the shotgun. Gilliard drops back the pass. Gilliard lets it go. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Duke Feldmeyer, his tight end. So the Olympians will take possession on downs with exactly 6 minutes left in the contest, leading by a score of 37-0, Brian.
What I can expect the losing Olympians to do in this situation is just run time off the clock, and it's going to limit the Torrance Tartars' opportunity to score. My heart goes out to the Torrance Tartars. They needed to score on that drive to gain some confidence at least, but they may not even walk away with confidence tonight.
In other Bay League action tonight, fans, Inglewood, as we mentioned before, was at Hawthorne in what was expected to be a high-scoring contest. Last year, Hawthorne defeated Inglewood by a score of 28-14. Of course, Leuzinger last year defeated this Torrance team by a score of 27-7. They've already exceeded that margin of victory from last year. Peninsula in a night game was at North Torrance, and West Torrance traveled to Santa Monica to take on the Samoa Vikings. So there was action all around the Bay League. Unfortunately, we don't have any scores for you to report on that, but you can rest assured that we will be here next week for the big game, the Leuzinger Olympians hosting the Hawthorne Cougars. All right, 1st and 10 for the Olympians from the 22-yard line. Devin Green still under center as quarterback. Olympians keep it on the ground. This time they throw some fresh meat at the Tartars. There was Adriel Lopez with the carry. So right now with a 37-point lead, Coach Bobby Greer giving a lot of guys a chance to see some game action, because you never know who may have to play in your next game, and you at least want these guys to get a little game experience. So he's shuttling guys in and out right now.
Yes, he took out his starters so they couldn't get injured as well.
Hey, Rufus, this is hefty time. It's garbage time right now. Leuzinger has, I believe, some of their JV players coming in and out. It's celebration time and homecoming for the Olympians.
I tell you, Adriel Lopez, man, you're talking about a guy that's a little fire plug. I'm looking at this guy. Let's see if we got some dimensions on him. There we do. Lopez, listen to this, fans. He's a junior. He's 205 pounds. He's 5 feet 4 inches tall. Yeah. Right. You talk about being a fire plug. This Lopez has the potential, and like I say, he's a young guy, basically a junior varsity player, not having seen a lot of varsity light. But you're talking about a Natro Means type running back. If this guy ever develops some skills,
He must be big in heart. He must have the tenacity of an Emmitt Smith or a Barry Sanders to certainly be in there.
And Lopez is having to come out of the game, fans. What we're being told is that Lopez has a cast on his hand, and the officiating crew has decided that he cannot play with the cast on his hand. So Adriel Lopez has been removed from the game by the officiating crew. Tough break for the young man, but at least he did get in on one play. Once again, the Olympians keep it on the ground. Ball pops loose for a second, then comes back into the hands of Now, Brian Bruno, the carrier on that play for the Olympians. 5 minutes left in the contest. As you said, Brian, they're just burning time right now.
Exactly. Well, I can tell you that the refs took Lopez out the game because that cast can be used as a weapon. He could hurt somebody on the Torrance team. He could break a nose inside the face mask or something like that. So I don't blame the refs for taking him out.
All right, so we got a 3rd down and 8 now for the Olympians. Devin Green, the quarterback, as we mentioned. We got a bunch of substitutes in here now, fans, so we'll try to match names and numbers as we go along. That looks like Miguel Panty, I believe, from what I saw, number 44 with the carry. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it looks like, Miguel Panty. And when you see clean jerseys like that, as Jason said, that means it's hefty time, garbage time, you know. So it's a 4th down. Olympians going to punt this one away. And they make wholesale changes right now in the punting crew. 3:55 left in the contest. And now DeJuan Scott, number 3, is going to handle the punting. Got an official timeout on the field. Let's see. Looks like the Tartars are going to take a timeout. So, with 3:48 left in the contest, the Leuzinger Olympians lead by a score, 37-0. They've pitched the shutout so far tonight. Let's see if they can take it the rest of the way.
I believe it's safe to say that the coffin is sealing on the Torrance Charters, or we can also say that the grains of the hourglass are slipping. Time is elapsing. The eggs are cooling. The jello's jiggling. The butter's getting hard.
There you go. There you go. Taking it straight from the lexicon, Chick Hearn. So we're back to live action now. DeJuan Scott back to punt. And Scott gets the punt away. There are no flags on this. It sails over Barbosa's head. It's taking a big Olympian bounce. Barbosa still hasn't picked it up. Finally picks it up at his own 20-yard line. Excellent punt there by DeJuan Scott. Big Olympian bounce. 3:35. There you see the reset, fans. 3:35 left in the contest. Leuzinger leading by a score of 37-0. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Tartars.
Barbosa certainly, he should have fell on that ball on that last punt return. I mean, he certainly almost turned the ball over to the Leuzinger Olympians, and they could have been in very good position to score.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for them, and it looks like, and Torrance has made a change in the quarterback. We'll get his name for you in just a moment. Boy, there's a pass over the middle. Reception nearly made. The new quarterback for Torrance is now Jeff Thompson. Jeff's a 6-foot, 165-pound sophomore. So the coach, Rock Hollis, decides to give the sophomore a little work tonight. The results of the contest no longer in doubt. And, you know, high school athletics is a participation sport. And, you know, even if you lose, you may as well get some of the other guys in now. The game's essentially over, Brian. So a 2nd down and 10 now. Once again, their quarterback drops back to pass. He throws a nice pass. He completes it, too. Pass completed to number 80, and that is Robert Salas.
Rufus, let me tell you, this quarterback has a gun. I don't know why he hasn't been in the whole game. That time, Rogers just a wee bit late that time.
And here you see the replay of the pass by Thompson to Salas. Makes it a 1st and 10 now out at the 45-yard line for the Tartars. Operating out of the shotgun formation. Once again, their quarterback drops back to pass. Misses his intended receiver. Threw it before his receiver actually turned around. Pass looked like it was intended for Rock Hollis. As we mentioned, Rock Hollis, son of the Torrance Tartar head coach by the same name, Rock Hollis. Yep. Near pick there by Jermon McGee.
I must say that Jermon McGee has excellent hops, but I must commend Coach Rock Hollis showing some confidence in his sophomore quarterback, Jeff Thompson. He's putting him in a rebuilding stage for the Torrance Tartars.
2nd down and 10 now for the Tartars from their own 45-yard line. Going exclusively from the shotgun formation now. And here's another pass. It's number 81 with the reception. And, of course, 81, we know him as Brandon Viet. So Thompson showing a good arm here as he's completed a couple of long passes.
Rufus, every time he goes back to throw, as we look at the replay, they seem to be picking on Rogers. Rogers seems to get there a step late every time. With this game sewn up and put away, he may not be as motivated as he would be in the early going.
So clock rolling with 2:50 left in the contest. Ball at the Leuzinger 24-yard line now. Thompson back to pass once again. Thompson intercepted. Looks like Chris Rogers can't see real good. No, Jermon McGee. McGee has a hold down the sideline. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Jermon McGee on the interception. 76-yard touchdown. Interception touchdown return by Jermon McGee. So all the Olympians have gotten in on the act tonight. Boy, what a big night for the Leuzinger Olympians. Jermon McGee with a 76-yard interception return. The young sophomore quarterback, Jeff Thompson, for Torrance was doing so well. One pass too many, and he got bit.
What you saw in the last play was Jeff Thompson's intended receiver was Rock Hollis, number 88. However, he made an inexperienced decision. He threw into double coverage. He did not see number 9, Jermon McGee for the Leuzinger Olympians, and he stepped in and he made the interceptions, returned it back for the touchdown.
Well, we got a timeout on the field right now. There you see the interception return by Jermon McGee, and he has nothing but clear sailing down the left sideline.
Rufus, look at those wheels. I like the way he worked it. No diggity that play. All the way down the sideline. I believe that's his first interception of his varsity career. What a way to go out. 90-yard interception, return for a touchdown.
Great play by the Leuzinger defense and offense tonight. Let's look at it from one more angle, fans. The 76-yard touchdown interception return by Jermon McGee. There you see the pass by Thompson. McGee just steps into the passing lane. And actually, as Jason said, there was 90 yards. You counted from the line of scrimmage, but we'll call it 90 yards. And McGee goes down the left sideline. No defender or anyone to get to him in sight. So the Olympians have 43 points on the board. It's going to be a flag here against the Tartars. Encroachment against the defense. Let's see if this changes Coach Greer's decision. Every time they've been in this position before, they've come out of the extra point attempt and gone for the touchdown.
Rufus, this just then I've been told Inglewood upset Hawthorne at Howcat Field.
You heard the fans there from Jason. We'll come to that. Well, the extra point attempt is blocked there. One of the few things to go wrong for the Olympians tonight, but they still lead by 43 points, and they're still pitching a shutout. But the information that we have right now is that there was an upset at Hellcap Field, home of the Hawthorne Cougars, as Inglewood upset them. Let's watch the replay one more time. Let's see. This is the interception. Go ahead, Brian. Call the action, will you?
You see number 9, Jermon McGee, he's just going all the way. He has so much real estate in front of him, he can build a house, basically. He's just trucking all the way. You see no Tartars in front of him to provide any tackling.
90-yard interception return there by Jermon McGee. stretches the Cougar lead the Olympian lead to 43-0. 2:24 left in the contest.
Rufus, that changes the phase of the playoffs. I believe that loss eliminated the Cougars since they lost to Santa Monica. So I believe that they're mathematically out of the playoff picture right now.
Well, if that report stands up, it would certainly drop the Cougars to 4-5 overall and 3-3 in Bay League competition. Here's a kickoff. Barbosa once again. Boy, this guy's gotten more work than anybody on the Torrance team tonight, and Barbosa gets a good return. Gets it out to about the 38-yard line. And there are 2:16 left in this contest if West hopes to get points on the board again tonight.
Well, I can point out one highlight for the Torrance Charters. Their uniforms do look good.
And I must admit, West keeps popping up so much because my last two games have both been at West High School, but this is in fact the Torrance Tartars. But I think even if it had been West, and now for a change they give it to Barbosa, one of his few carries tonight. Barbosa picks up a first down as he goes around the right side.
Rufus, if Hawthorne did indeed lost, since they lost to Santa Monica, and now if they lost to Inglewood, that would leave them as the fourth place team and only a chance for a wild card. And since they lost two of their preseason games, it looks really, really dim right now for the Hawthorne Cougars. And the light as the flame is bright, burning brightly for the Leuzinger Olympians.
Well, that certainly does. Well, we got a personal foul being called here against the Olympians. Dead ball personal foul against the Olympians. Going to take the ball down to the Leuzinger 30-yard line. Personal foul call against the Olympians. Ball's at their 30-yard line. Jeff Thompson, the sophomore, still under center at quarterback. First down and 10, 2:06 left in the contest. West trying to get some points on the board and avoid the shutout here. Trailing by a score of 43-0. Thompson drops back to pass. Thompson goes in the flat, hits his receiver, touchdown. So Leuzinger, the crowd lets out a big ah as they lose the shutout on the pass reception made to Robert Salas.
The Torrance Charters respond to the Leuzinger Olympians. They say, if we're gonna lose, we're gonna look good doing it.
Right, and of course, the Olympian fans wanted the shutout. They don't get it, but they still get a big enough victory that they'll be satisfied, I'm sure, and excited about. But I think that what's happened is the Tartars may have found themselves a quarterback, gentlemen, in the form of Jeff Thompson.
Yeah, Rufus, you're right about Thompson, but what's better news for the Olympians, avoiding the shutout or having Hawthorne lose earlier today?
So the Tartars' extra point attempt coming up. Wouldn't surprise me if they go for two here, nothing to lose. Instead, they do kick it. Kick is up, and it's good. So with 1:58 left, the Tartars get 7 points on the board, and they now trail by a score of 43-7.
Here you're going to see the Thompson-Salas connection here. We see a post pattern by number 80, Robert Salas, and there's no coverage there. He's wide open for the score.
And you also you're compelled to point out the fact that that score came against Leuzinger's second-string defense, but nonetheless, it's 7 points, and that's to take nothing away from the Tartars. As we say, it's a team with pride. They show up for every game, and they want to score. And my hat's off to them for being able to do it. It's a game of young people, and it's their game, and you're glad to see these kids rewarded at least with some points tonight.
Yeah, this is what the Torrance Charters scored in their last game against the Leuzinger Olympians. That was in 1995. Leuzinger Olympians beat them 27-7 last year. So they kind of equaled their mark from last year.
Well, what about the onside kick at this point with 1:58 left?
It certainly wouldn't hurt.
Of course, you're trying to make up 36 points in 1:58 seconds. And there it is. And no, okay, didn't go to 10 yards, and actually it was touched way before, but that was one of the more interesting onside kick attempts I've seen. I mean, these guys just approach the ball like a herd of buffalo. And that's no insult intended, but that's what it looks like if we see the replay. I mean, everybody's rushing the ball, and they just put a foot on it and try to get to it. A very interesting approach to the onside kick.
That hurt is somewhat reminiscent of the way the Torrance Charters have been all night long. They've been in disarray. They've been motley. I mean, the highlight of the game are their uniforms, basically.
So, let's see. I believe the officials are going to, well, we've got a timeout on the field. Should be Olympian ball when we come back to live action, still with 1:58 left here in the contest. Leuzinger leading by a score of 43-7. All right, here's the extra point attempt, and there's the herd of buffalo that you heard me speak of. The ball's in there somewhere. The Torrance player knows it has to go 10 yards, but he doesn't let it go to 10.
Rufus, Pablo Rodriguez is in the game. He's a third-string quarterback. He has a strong arm. His height deters him a little bit. Let's see what he can do getting his chance tonight.
So we're down to third-string quarterbacks now, fans. And with 1:50 left and the clock running, I'm not even sure we're going to try to put names with numbers, except for guys that we may know. But in all fairness, let's see. As Jason said, that quarterback wearing jersey number 10 is Pablo Rodriguez. It's going to be a 2nd down and 7 for the Olympians now. They're at the 47-yard line, let's call it, of Torrance. Well, as we sort of set the playoff stage, one of the other keys becomes the result of the Santa Monica West Torrance game. And if you're looking at this from a records perspective, you got to think that Santa Monica took care of business in that game, although we know that West has played some good football this season, but they're 1-4 in Bay League action. Okay, so Pablo Rodriguez still under center at quarterback. They keep it on the ground. The handoff there was to Miguel Ponte, number 44. Miguel doesn't see a lot of work in the rushing attack for the Olympians because we know that that's handled by Eddie Miller and Keith Miller. Brian, your thoughts as we wind down?
Well, Leuzinger is going to carry this Olympian into the rivalry next week against Hawthorne. And I feel kind of sorry for the Hawthorne Cougars. They lost tonight in an upset against the Inglewood Sentinels. So it's a toss-up. I don't know who to favor next week's matchup, but in a rivalry, anything is possible.
And of course, we should also add that result information is somewhat unofficial. We're carrying it as official information, but it is unofficial.
Right, but if Hawthorne indeed lost, last year Leuzinger was playing basically for nothing but pride, and in the ending result, I believe it was 36-12. This Olympian team's on fire. They're peaking at the right time.
We're under a minute and a half. The fans are restless. I must admit, I'm a bit restless myself. The game's no longer in doubt. Folks are wanting this to get over and to get the celebration started. Pablo Rodriguez hands it off. Looks like Chris Rogers with the carry. Oh, I'm sorry. That's number 19, Tony Acosta with the carry. So we're seeing a little bit of everybody tonight. Gives me an opportunity to remind you that these broadcasts are the exclusive property of Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 6, intended for the use of their viewing audience. Any rebroadcast or replay without the express written permission of Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 is strictly forbidden. But I think you'll see this particular ball game going into the archives of a lot of Leuzinger faithful, not only for the job that the Start has done, but for a lot of guys who don't get a lot of action getting to see themselves on TV. They'll want to keep this as proof for their family and friends.
Yeah, there's been equal distribution of the ball tonight. I mean, Riley has scored 2 touchdowns, rushing, I mean, which is a very key point in this attack.
And there you see the Gatorade toss. We may have mentioned it, missed it on Coach Greer there. Like to see a lot of excitement for this team tonight. Once again, the Olympians keeping the ball on the ground. That should be the last play of the contest. Also gives me a chance to remind you, working tonight's contest, the crew of Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Well, let's let the clock wind down, fans, and listen to the fans here. Homecoming 1996, celebrated in grand fashion by the Leuzinger Olympians as they defeat the Torrance Totters by a score of 43-7. Our congratulations to Brandy Hendricks again, Miss Sports Royalty 1996. It's been a festive night here at Olympian Stadium, and they're looking for these festivities and this kind of happiness to be extended one more week as the Hawthorne Cougars come to town. Gentlemen, as we wrap it up, let's go to Jason Miller first.
Rufus, we said Leuzinger would have to get Keith Miller involved in the offense as well as Rashawn Cook, and Ken Riley would have to throw touchdown passes. They did it all tonight. Leuzinger, they had more flavor than M&M's tonight, Rufus. Excellent win for the Olympians. They're peaking at the right time. All I can say is Hawthorne better watch out.
Brian.
Prior to this game, the Leuzinger Olympians were 3-2 in the Bay League competition. This was a crucial win for them. If they hadn't won tonight, they could have counted themselves out of the playoffs. But they did come away with the win, and they repeated their win last year against the Torrance Charters, and I wish them luck in their rivalry and when they go against the Hawthorne Cougars next week.
Well, in case you didn't know, fans, let me remind you one more time. Right here at Olympian Field next week, Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 will bring you the big contest between the Leuzinger Olympians and the Hawthorne Cougars. But once again, let's congratulate the Olympians on a big victory tonight over the Torrance Tartars. For the entire crew here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60, which includes our executive producer, Mike Galarza, our technical director, Tom Strickfaden. On camera, we got Jose Bravo, Robert Medina, Ali Santana, and working in the replay booth, Billy Barnes. For Brian Knox, Jason Miller, I'm Rufus Washington saying to you once again, our final homecoming 1996. Leuzinger Olympians 43, the Torrance Tartars 7. What a way to celebrate homecoming 1996 here at Leuzinger High School. Good night, fans. We'll see you next week on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60, back here at Leuzinger High School. It's been fun. See you next Friday night.